Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Welcome to not our TTRPG showcase, and not Frontier Adventure Company, and not Roll for Beer. This is your Fireside Chats.
It's been 6 months since we did one of these, I think.
Give or take. Yeah, it's been busy. Life is full. Life is very full.
We have a full schedule, and we
Yes.
have had an opportunity to showcase some amazing content creators, which means we have not had the space to just do this.
That is true. That is 100% true. I wouldn't take it back. I just, every time I look at our schedule, it's a lot.
We're only doing a bunch of stuff for shows and charities and amazing people.
There is that. You know, I because I think they're in the chat right now. I have to give a shout out to Rick and Kala because they're the organizers for Pride Revolution.
Mhm.
I got involved helping out because our mutual friend Sarah, the Hype Goblin, you've seen her on Roll for Beer and some of her other productions and stuff, was like, "Hey, we're doing a cool thing," and I'm like, "Oh, but those are my people. Let's do this, absolutely." And Neon and Ari joined suit, and gonna try and raise some money for a very, very good cause throughout all of June and so far half of May. Think we just hit the $500 mark on it, and it's been live for a couple of days.
That's awesome.
The original goal there was $1,000 for the trans empowerment project. I'll throw some. There's actually some links in our panels down below for the channel on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube, I'll get them over there as well in the video for after the fact. It doesn't look like there's anybody on YouTube for the moment. So, but yeah, that said, we added in a couple of cool things. One of the milestones we set up was getting Rick and Kala on the on Roll for Beer, which is super cool. We're doing a Roll for Kegger milestone, and if we could all be in the same place, it would be an actual kegger, but it'll be a spiritual kegger at this point. I believe we're looking looking to do that at the end of the month here. I have to go back and check. My brain is a sieve at this point.
I feel
Um,
that.
it's been a whirlwind of birthday, like children's birthday parties, and my own birthday party, and I'm still coming down off all that. So we've got a bunch of different um, rewards set in place for ours. So some are one's already been redeemed to somebody donated $100. It was Brian from our channel
Hmm.
to buy a one shot. Um, and everybody thought that it was the $100 to get Neon to drink Dr. Ramshackle's old fashioned juice that makes you explode.
Yep.
It was not. They just did that because they chose to. Um, but yeah, we've also got a bunch of rewards that I put in there. Here's the thing: I'm going to sacrifice my body for the greater good,
It's a good call.
and there's a couple of things that we set up. So there's a bunch of different teams that are a part of it, and nobody's competing. But I mean, if it makes somebody feel like they need to donate to support their channel in order to compete, feel free, do so. It's not a big deal. I suggest the Logomancy team if that's the kind of feelings that you have. Um, if we hit a $250 milestone, um, it I make no bones about like we work with charities and we support multiple different efforts throughout the year. And personally, my partner and I put aside money to donate to charities throughout the year as they go. So if the Logomancy hits $250, we're gonna do a one-time donation match of that. So the bar will go from 250 to 500
That'll be awesome.
because I'm donating to charities anyway. It was just a discussion that we had on what portion of money is going to go where, and this is something that I care about. It's yeah, so that's a big one that we're putting on. We've got a bunch of smaller milestones rewards in there related to bonus dice and magic items and villainous reskins and stuff. The stuff that we do for the majority of our um, different fundraising efforts. Um, but one of the big ones is that again for $100, I will drink some Dr. Ramshackle's juice that makes you explode uh, on screen.
Yeah.
Um, and if we hit the I wanted to put in a $250 one, I think it is. Oh yeah. Sorry, there's a $500 reward called propane and propane accessories. And it's that if I'm running a game, and I don't care if it's during the time for the fundraiser before the end of June or not. If somebody redeems that on the next stream that I go into, I will eat this one chip challenge that I have in my hand and continue DMing the game in pain with painful accessories because why not? What's the worst that could happen? I mean, the stream might be over, and that's a shame. But I feel like I'm tough enough for a lot of that.
I've got faith in
Um,
you.
it'd be all right. So, but yeah, how are you, my friend?
Good. I mean, we've got a ton of things on my side, I guess, of everything that's been going on. Frontier Adventures is going fantastically. We're I don't want to spoil anything. We're about halfway through what's been planned, with
Mm,
plans for a season two.
yes.
So that's if anyone's wondering how long we're going, I'm going for about the same runtime as season one of Dungeons and Daddies is kind of what our planned runtime is looking like. We'll be a little bit over that, but I figured that was enough content for somebody who wanted to consume all of it reasonably well. Um, Without it being too much to
Mm.
kind of consume was keeping to our original spirit of not ending up in a critical role 300 episodes. Good luck, get caught up. So
I
we're
I don't need that in my life. Look, I'm not gonna lie. Wednesday is my day off,
yeah.
and I try and tune in and catch the bulk of the game when my children allow me.
Yeah. And you know what?
Doesn't
We've
happen.
we've had an amazing community so far, coming out, supporting us, having great conversations with us, having fantastic engagement, and wonderful moments that have popped up from people coming in and tuning in. So we've had a really great opportunity in that. On the flip side of that, I am extremely excited to be going, knock on wood, up to Gamescom Canada again. We're
Mhm.
waiting on final details for that, but theoretically we'll be there talking about our other big fundraiser of the year, the one that my wife and I donate the most to, our Roll for Wishes. Um, I'm not going to detract from what we've got going on right now. I definitely do not want. I think that's definitely our focus right now. But the exciting thing about that is, talking about that, engaging with people, especially in the TTRPG space. Um, and then I also redid our website
Yes.
recently. So for anyone who pays attention, we've moved from a very limited platform to uh, a much more focused platform, something that we can do a lot more with, something we can be a lot more customized with, something we can write blogs, we can get people on to have conversations, we can actually highlight our shows, highlight the fundraising stuff that we're doing really well. We have a lot better control over our store, whereas before we were kind of beholden to some very expensive prices. Now we're able to set our prices, one, in Canadian. As a Canadian company, we're very happy to be able to do that, but two, actually bring our prices down in a lot of cases, or be more size inclusive if our prices are still high. I think I sent you a message actually just a couple days ago that we were switching providers on which bunny hug that we're providing. And the big reason for that was because I now have an option to offer up to a 5XL for the same price as an XL, and not have a $10 price gap.
And I mean, it's called a hoodie, but
Listen,
it's you're allowed to be from the plains, I guess. For our American friends at home, that's the um
it's Saskatchewan specific.
it's yeah, it's flat. I'm surprised that you didn't name our denim jackets Canadian tuxedos.
I thought about it, but I wasn't sure if people were going to be confused. I don't know if that's a term that, like, bunny hug. I was like, okay, that's a very pro Canadiana term. Like that's a deep cut reference.
All right.
Um,
For folks that are in chat tonight, I know there's a couple Americans. Um if following the link that I sent, would you be confused if I called this a Canadian tuxedo? Also, I like that it's classic and black denim. That's great.
yeah.
But I mean,
Do you want white? Do you want white denim?
I mean,
Because
I
I
mean,
that's an option. I specifically didn't pick it because I wasn't sure how it was gonna look, but it's an option.
you know what? If it's an option, do it. Somebody's gonna wear it. Um, we've also got a bunch of our donation merch up.
Yeah,
Um, so we've got our regular pride shirts that all of our proceeds for go to the Alex. They're a wonderful charity organization here in Alberta that help out LGBTQ youth as well as like disenfranchised youth and just folks in need of a hand up. They've got a boatload of different programs, and they are always worth my time and money and effort to help out. We've also got a trans pride shirt up on the store right now, where 100% of the proceeds for this are going to the Trans Empowerment Project. So we're not making anything off of this stuff.
yeah.
It's all going to a good cause.
I
Um,
think that was when we initially had the conversation about these specific shirts. That was our thing. We had people who were like, "Oh, it'd be really cool to have like a pride flag or whatever," and we hummed and hawed on it, but it didn't feel right for us, like, rainbow capitalizing
yeah,
on.
I'm not a faceless, nameless corporation. Boomer.
Yeah,
It it that that's not my jam. That said, seeing our stuff with cool colors, I'm down for.
yeah.
It's just, yeah, you do it right. Don't be a shit on the internet. I think is a pretty good way to go.
Yeah, and I think that's it kind of the reason we pushed the more merch store back out was because we were like, hey, we really wanted to support, and then people were like, oh, I kind of want something physical, and we unfortunately aren't a large enough group where we can, if you spend a certain amount of money, send you a shirt. We're not in that lucky spot yet. um but this felt like a tangible way we could support the causes that we're supporting and give people an opportunity to do things, and it lets us take advantage very much of the better pricing we have now.
There's
um
that.
we were switching over to the new store. All of our prices went down, with the exception of the bunny hug, which stayed the same. All of our prices went down about 10%.
Yeah. The only thing that we're really missing now is all of our stationery and home and office stuff is
And I'm plugging away getting that in. I promise it'll come
all right.
back.
That's fair. Now,
You're
were
looking for
you
the
able
wall.
to get grid paper notebooks this time?
I didn't actually look. I'll have to take a look and see what my options look like.
Because I'm look, the internet can at me all at once. There's a right way and a wrong way to take your Dungeons and Dragons notes, and the right way is on grid paper, like uh, Raptor Jesus and the flying spaghetti monster intended.
Yep, exactly. I'm looking right now actually while we're having this conversation, because I can tell you pretty quickly if what my options look like, and maybe give people a sneak peek of stuff that's yet to come.
Yeah.
Um, oh, hello.
No. Well, I am very thankful um, that Sarah had brought stuff up when she did, because I was sitting down and trying to figure out what we were going to do for scheduling for the back half of May and the majority of June,
Yeah.
because um, Canada has a boatload of stat holidays. Um, as a general rule for our group, we don't stream on stat holiday like long weekends because one, it's a good break for everybody, and two, if I want to go away and do something for a stat holiday, there's a pretty good chance that people in our crew are going to want to do the same, and we all need breaks on a regular basis. So that that's something that uh, we probably got to look at for our Wednesday stuff as well, because y'all must be exhausted at this point.
Yeah.
Um, you need more breaks than you're taking. I'm gonna
Yeah.
put my foot down on that. Um, but it it freed us up to be able to do a lot of stuff for Pride Revolution, um, and Neon wanted to step up and run a bunch of games, and we can do them in our Monday time slots or our Wednesday time slots or whatever we're looking at for June, whatever works for folks. Um, and then once we're done, I can get back to finishing off the Vagabond series with
Hmm.
Indestructiboy and Sarah
Hmm.
and and Lydia and Kate, and then get back to our Daggerheart playtest. That's everybody's been having a whole lot of fun with that. It's just scheduling. People take vacations, all that jazz. So I think we've got a couple other things on the docket. One of the coolest things about any fundraiser endeavor that we get involved in is the folks that you meet.
Hmm.
And everybody that I've talked to, either as organizers or game masters or the players, have been super chill and like really, really easy to get along with and to schedule with. Like my schedule's the more complicated, I think, out of everybody's just because of babies and all.
Yeah.
Um, but it's been good. We actually had a bunch of folks come into our Discord and fill out our player intake and stuff for you know after all of this is said and done. And I'm always down for a thicker crew, so to speak. Um, that's I mean I bring the thickness myself, and not in a self depreciating way, but no, just there we're gonna have a much more diverse crew going forward after all of this is said and done. I feel because we're making friends and having a good time,
Hmm.
and uh, all it takes is a couple of yes, chat thick. There's no K in my thick. There's only C's. My thick has multiple C's, but no K's. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. So I'm looking forward to what the future holds on the stream side. Speaking of, so what we've got on the docket so far is, let me see here. We got May 22nd today. So on the 27th, Neon is running a Thirsty Sword Lesbians one shot,
which is gonna be exciting.
which is going to be a good time. So that's going to be on our Monday time slot. And then on June 3rd, I'm going to be running a Daggerheart. I think we're wrapping Daggerheart. We might have 1 or 2 episodes more for that. But love you too, Allison. um, Daggerheart game on the 3rd. I'm playing in a Tales from the Loop game on the 9th. And I believe, we're hosting that on our channel. Most of the stuff for Pride Revolution is going to be like hosted here or hosted on like Even Foot Gaming, the Hype Goblins channel, and I don't recall if let me double check here quick. There's also Lantern Light Adventures is hosting some. Imagine If Media is hosting some. I think Hampod's also hosting some games that Rick's running as well. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. There's a boatload of folks that are participating in this. I think there's about Even Footing Games. Yeah. I think there's like 80 creators that are participating at this point. Things have snowballed. It is great. Wonderful.
These are all great things to hear as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I'm going to run a Ninja Sex Party themed one shot. I may or may not have reached out to them earlier asking if it's okay if we use their music for the actual show. Because fair use and parody and all that being what it is, I'm still not going to use somebody's stuff if they don't say yes or are okay with it.
Yeah.
But I can rock it in spirit if nothing else. So that'll be a good time. And then I believe En's gonna run some Ryutama on our show for July. I think she had said.
Okay.
Which is like it's a super cozy, like if you think Legend of Mana, Ragnarok RPG like art style. It's a super cozy RPG. En's she goes by GM of Revan on all the socials and in our Discord and everything else, and runs Artelia as a like TTRPG community. Known them for a handful of years now, actually. It's been a good time. So that's going to be super fun. I'm absolutely signing up to play in that as a player. And then, because what is a TTRPG game if it doesn't involve illicit dick jokes? For our Dark City game, I think it was Dark City. We're bandying about like old Flash villains.
Okay.
Where it's like, Batman gets cool villains, Superman gets good villains, the Flash gets like fucking Kite Man. And like Condiment King and that kind of stuff. So we're like, all right, we're gonna run I'll use like Powered by the Apocalypse or like a lasers and feelings system. And we're gonna run some C tier villains. And you're 4 C tier villains. You have one thing, and it's not a good thing, but it's your superpower.
Yeah.
And you're gonna do a bank heist or like foil a super. I haven't figured it out yet. I don't have to worry about that until July. My brain is thinking about now, not July. And Neon's like, I want to play a character called the Fingler, and they've just got one finger that's way longer than the others. Like that's their whole thing. Just the Fingler.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
So this is where my creative spoons have gone.
Okay.
We are looking at filming a pilot episode for our YouTube channel later on into the summer here. Got to line up some more talent and calendars for everybody. But well, for little spoilers, there's a definitive lack of uh, how do I learn how to do this? How do I play this sort of content out there? Since Legendary bought up a certain creator studio that spawned some really cool content. Um, so I kind of want to fix that. And it's a matter of sitting down and making stuff digestible and, you know, 7 minutes or less. I'm gonna teach you how to do a thing in 7 minutes or less.
10 minutes or less.
Well, I mean something. I mean,
All the scripts are written to be 10 minutes or less.
we'll figure it out.
Hmm.
You underestimate how fast I can like info dump on people. If it's even me, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But worst case scenario, you can look at my beautiful, lovely, shiny head, and best case scenario, it's somebody who isn't me and has more time available to them, and I can just put on my producer hat and have a good time. So, yeah, life is good. I'm glad the shop is up and running again, and that we've got stuff that people actually enjoy.
Mhm.
Which, oh, thank you. Yes, Doc Grid Notebook. I mean, it's not a lined grid notebook, but
I,
I appreciate the love, if nothing else.
I did what I could.
That's fair. It's a good time. Yeah. We what else do we got on the Roll for Beer.
Roll for beers
Um
back.
Roll for Beer is back. We're 2 episodes into the new season, and Allison's getting her sea legs and having a good time. And
She's
by
doing
getting her sea
fantastic.
legs, I mean she's drank enough now that the swaying has balanced out. Having a good time. No, we've got a handful of guests tentatively uh confirmed up to this point.
Mhm.
Um we set a milestone for our channel. If we hit, I want to say it's $500 or $600. I'll have to go back and look at the Tiltify for it. It might not be published yet. We're gonna have um, the founder and CEO of the Trans Empowerment Project come on
Mhm.
and take a little bit of their time up and uh, just talk about what all of the efforts are going to go towards, the kinds of things that they can do, how people can get involved, um, that sort of that sort of thing. I've tentatively, I don't script roll for beer. I just jot down a bunch of topics that I want to talk with my friends and ask them about. We're gonna sit down with uh, Josiah Ambrose at some point here. That's he goes by Dungeon Dad on the internet.
Yeah, yeah.
Fun fact: Dad to the internet, but not necessarily to Gremlins. Um, we're gonna sit down and speak with like I'm a like geek out a little bit with Ellipses Stevens, who's the
Mhm.
creator of Goblins comic.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, Ellipses won 2 Aurora Awards for Best English Graphic Novel. It's a Canadian thing. Um, Goblins helped shape like my storytelling. I started reading it at I think like the first year of university,
Okay.
which if you're counting in Canadian years, that was like 2004, 2005. It's been a while. But yeah, no, I reached out to them to her recently and asked if she wanted to be involved, and we talked a little bit about what we're doing with Pride Revolution, and she's like, "That's fucking amazing. I get to drink beer on the internet and call it a job." I'm like, life is good. The my people, my people.
I
Speaking of, oh,
No, I was gonna say, like personally, I've been really enjoying Roll for Beer. Like
hmm,
the return to it and everything coming back, and I missed it. I missed it as a show, so I'm very excited it got revised.
and I mean, formatting has to change a little bit because
Hmm.
um, uh, I don't have Riley's expertise to rely on like the specifics of the alcohol industry. I
Mhm.
just like beer and like drinking beer and talking to my friends about the stuff that they're passionate care about. So like tonally there's a bit of a shift for it. And that's to be expected, right? It's going to be interesting to see Allison's different takes on the different topics that we have, and you know the the questions that she thinks up that uh, don't come to me when we're talking with our guests. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good balance at this point. We just gotta fix her tech bucket at some point. Oh,
I'm
sorry, the
enjoying
the
all
tech
of
jar.
I was gonna say I'm enjoying all the donations that are going into probably I think trans empowerment is where we're gonna send all of her for this next 2 months.
Probably that sounds appropriate. But yeah, um, yeah, that is the extent of my list currently for our role for bigger guests because I'm trying to stay flexible with it.
Yeah.
At some point, I talked to Bill about coming back on and drinking more whiskey with me, but that was probably one of my favorite episodes is when we did roll for whiskey. Um, and he may just bring the Dungeons and Drams folks along. We'll see how
Heck
that
yeah.
goes.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
As a whiskey lover, I'm here for it.
Hmm.
Because you're drinking a beer and I am drinking bourbon tonight.
I have Common Crown Brew Co.'s Coppersmith Brown Ale. I didn't roll for this beer. I just picked it um, out of the beer fridge, which is progressively becoming more and more covered in geeky stickers for every convention that I go to.
This is Blanton's bourbon. It's my
I
favorite. I'm a sucker for it. It's my go-to bottle. If you're ever looking to suck up to me, that's the best way to do it. And it's about $130 for a bottle, depending on who you buy it from. So
Mhm.
it's just expensive enough to make it worth it.
um I I gotta I don't remember specifically. I bought it from my dad. It was a whiskey that we had before. I just went across the road and I'm like, I need something, and they were at a Gibson's, and
Mm,
dad drinks Gibson's. Um, and I'm like, all right, this looks good. Bring it home. And the next day we went back and got another bottle of it because we're like, this is really good, and I need to go to sleep now. As we ended up having entirely too much of it.
yep,
But
as you
that's
do.
that's what I do when dad drives up to visit. Is we watch nature bushcraft shows and canoe videos and drink whiskey.
That sounds like a dream.
Quality bonding time.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I I'm headed off to Gen Con.
Yeah.
That's absorbed the majority of my spoons the last little bit. And just I'm gonna be hanging out with the D and denial folks. Jess over there has been very kind and is like, "Hey, you're flying in by yourself." Like, they've got a little group event thing going where like we're all signing up for this thing, and you can buy like 4 tickets at a time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's a little challenging because they're also hosting a boatload of different events, and like live actual plays and stuff. I'm only hosting. I've got 6 events in there currently. Only a handful of them have actually been accepted for processing. I added in a bunch afterwards that you won't be able to sign up for at least another like month or so
Mm.
because they got to find spaces and tables and stuff for it. So I'm running a bunch of Oops All Goblins, that module that I wrote for the Role Playing Games Alliance,
Mhm.
and I'll be running a bunch of Lasers and Feelings hacks because they're an hour long, right?
Yeah.
Lasers and Feelings is perfect for running at cons because you can sit down. It's a single D6 in most cases to play for a whole table. Everybody just chooses when they're rolling the D6. The GM never rolls, and your whole character sheet fits on, you know, one of these little note cards. So packing and carry on is very very light. It all helps
It's
out.
the it's what's coming home with you that's gonna be very heavy.
You know, I'm not, despite Gen Con being a board game mecca. And this is interesting. So we do FallCon.
Mhm.
We ran a bunch of their TTRPG stuff last year, and the painting tables for kids and stuff last year. Well, for everybody, but I mean, if you look at the demographics for everybody who signed up, it was 200 children.
Yeah.
It was, and sometimes their parents, but mostly children.
Yeah.
Um, and we're going to be helping them out again this year, once everything's all uh, hammered out detail wise.
Yeah.
But I was looking up because I've never been to Gen Con before, and I'm looking up a bunch of walkthrough videos of people being like, "Hey, I'm at Gen Con. This is day one. This is the convention center. Like, this is the setup. Look at the crowd of people trying to get to events." And like, I'm a prepper. I need to plan stuff well in advance. Um, so I'm like, wait a second, is that? And the first video that I clicked on for Gen Con, in the first 5 minutes, he's like, the doors are open, and I see our good friend Amy, who is the one of the, I think she might be the president or the VP of the Falcon,
Mhm.
just like in a Falcon 37 t-shirt, mask on, with like determination in her eyes, hustling right past the camera. And like, she didn't quite body check the dude, but she had some board games to buy.
She got close.
And uh Calgary is not a hop, skip, and a jump from Indianapolis.
No.
It's a few connecting flights. And I'm just like, what are the odds? And I was speaking with her the other day. Like I found this and I waited like a reasonable individual until the next morning to send her a message and be like, hey, did you uh see, like, look at this screenshot? And she's like, Queen by Midnight had come out and he was in the way. Was all she said. I'm just like, shit. But yeah, it's a good time. I'm gonna hang out with the D and Denial folks. Um, ADH Adventures have been very kind. Um, and there's a whole Discord dedicated to Gen Con and the Crit Awards and things like that.
Yeah.
So there's a whole plethora of content creators there that are super cool. Um, Crit Awards are going to be interesting. I get to dress in my dapper best, and it won't be a Canadian tuxedo. It'll be a like actual finery.
Yeah.
And maybe my dad Crocs. We'll see. But I gotta wear Crocs on a plane. Like I can't not wear Crocs on a plane. They're coming with me anyway. I might as well wear them to an award show.
Yeah, like rock it out.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
But um I'm gonna tag around with Hype Goblin with Sarah for a little while. Check out some cool shit. And we're gonna sit in for the critical miscord. Uh, it's a morning show run by Noir Enigma and Anita.
Okay.
It's a good time. I'm uh, I have a giant list of all the stuff that I'm planning to do, and
Yeah.
um, it's gonna be a lot, and I'm gonna be a sleepy boy.
You're gonna have a blast though.
I deliberately made it so all of the stuff that I have to run is on Friday.
Yeah.
So every other day I can just promote Roll for Wishes and just hang out with people and have a good time and, you know, sling some clickety clackety math rocks with friends.
Which again, honestly, it sounds like you're gonna have absolutely fantastic time while you're there.
Absolutely. Next year, you too.
Yes.
It'll
I,
it'll make some accommodations and stuff a little easier. I'm I'm less stressed because I'm flying by myself because American Airlines suck, man.
yes.
Like, I'm sorry. That's that's super crappy. I I fly from Calgary to Los Angeles and have a bunch of layovers, and then they're like, "And now we'll send you to Chicago." And I'm like, "Why Chicago?" And they're like, "Because Chicago, and then Indianapolis." I'm like, "Okay."
I when we first talked about going, my plan had been I have friends in New York, and I could get a direct flight to New York,
Mhm.
do a night layover in New York with
Mhm.
them and then fly straight to Indianapolis. That was what I was going to propose. Because even though we are an international airport and arguably one of the largest international airports in Canada, for some reason we have no direct flights to at least Chicago, which has one of the largest airports in North America.
Yeah.
Don't think about
I
it too hard.
I I was talking to Sarah about this on our last episode of Roll for Beer,
I miss it.
and she's like, "Why didn't you just fly to Toronto and take the train down?" And I'm like, "Son of a bitch." Would have been like a $250 flight,
Yeah.
and it would have been very fast. I
I,
mean, Via Rail's not great at the best of times, but you know, it's an option.
so that's what we're doing next year. Is
Yeah,
we're gonna fly to Toronto and we're gonna take the train.
yeah. Or rent a car and drive.
We could do that too. I think it's about the same distance and time, so
Yep. Then I don't have to hope that everything's on time. But
yeah.
yeah, it'll be a good time. I wasn't able to secure anything around the convention center because that's uh blocked off pretty heavily.
Yeah.
Thanks for the follow, Halfling Wizard. Appreciate it. Um, so I'm up at the airport, but it's according to my phone like a 6-minute Uber ride, so I should be fine.
And walk. It's a good little hike to get there.
Yeah, but I'm gonna have like D&D stuff
Fair.
laden upon me, so
Fair,
one of
fair.
those things. But yeah, life is long. I've got uh I've got a well-deserved rest coming up.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go into the woods and not come out for several days.
Yes.
Yes.
We have
Next,
we still haven't done that, you and me. So you and me are gonna have to plan a weekend where we do at least a one night.
you can come next weekend if you want.
Uh,
Oh yeah,
unfortunately,
that's right. You have stuff.
I do have stuff. I have other
Yeah,
stuff that was planned.
I'll send you lots of pictures of me in a hammock, pickled, and yeah. I plan to play some Magic: The Gathering in the woods.
I will send you pictures of our Bibi in her first camping trip.
That's fair. I uh, I will probably in the next couple of weeks get our youngest baby on her first camping trip too. And by that I mean my oldest and I set up a tent in the backyard, usually around July,
Yeah.
and the tent just kills the lawn there for the majority of the summer. Because if it's not a work night, um, if it's a Friday night, we're going out and we're camping in the backyard.
Yeah.
It's close enough that she can run in and use the bathroom if she needs to, and we camp.
Yeah.
It's a very low impact. She likes it. I've got a nice outdoor fire pit in the yard that she can roast hot dogs on, and solid. She doesn't sleep, I don't sleep, but it's good quality bonding time for stuff, so
What I'm hearing is between the two of us, we definitely have to take some time and organize a recorded campaign around a campfire in the middle of nowhere.
you know, some of the best D&D games that I've ever had were with Ken DMing us camping,
Yeah.
because he'd bring out like maps and minis and all that jazz, and I'm just like, we need one set of dice that stays in a box on the table because we're also passing around bourbon as we do it,
Yeah.
and that's too many things to fall onto the ground in the dark. Um, I at once upon a time I had you remember Trouble?
Yeah.
The board, like you pop the thing, it pops the
Fun
dice.
getting into trouble.
Yeah, I had a big one about the size of a snow globe that rolls a d20 and a d12 and a d8 and a d6 and a d4
I
all
love
at the
that.
same time.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened to it, but it was really useful for camping because whatever you needed to roll, you just pop the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, lots of cool stuff coming up. I'm excited. I I've got my fingers in a few different um I'm helping out friends with a few of their different endeavors. I almost said I've got my fingers in a few friends, but that's not something that yeah.
I would have known what you meant.
Yeah.
I think like from a we are friends first, I would say, us
Mhm.
and the group of people we play with, but as a transparency thing, we obviously operate as a business. And I think from a business perspective, we have some really cool things going on. Um, and we have grown to a point where I think we are in a very unique position to now be able to support our friends in their endeavors as well. Or to better engage with our friends in a way that's meaningful and impactful to the work that they're doing.
Mhm.
Um, I guess we didn't talk about this off camera. Do we want to talk about the other things that we're doing as Logomancy?
Mm. Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
You know what? I've done the majority of the talking up to
Okay.
this point.
I will steal the thunder because it started out as my baby project anyways, so it's pretty cool. So for those of you who are a little bit unaware of kind of how we operate, when originally we first started down this road, James and our good friend Melissa started an actual corporation to own and control everything, to keep trouble away as much as possible, because rule number
Yes.
one of ensuring that you stay friends with friends after you start doing streaming content with them or any form of content creation is to make sure that you don't do that. And if you're going to do it, make sure there's contracts in place.
Yeah.
And corporations to hold those contracts and make sure everyone's fairly taken care of. And it's what allows us to do things like, for example, we're going to be providing shirts to our folks at Gamescom, and stuff along those lines. But one of the elements that I bring to the team is my background is content and marketing. That's my day job. Is I'm a marketing person. So we actually started working with one of our previous partners. Um, we'll hold off on talking about it until we actually publish it to the website, case study wise. But we started working with a partner in that we had done some volunteer work with before, and it moved into a paid contract, and we actually spun off a version of our company that's now taking care of those things. So if you're watching this and you're a content creator and you're like, hey, I want somebody to come through and give advice on how to be better manage a Discord, or I want to get a content strategy put forward, or I want to develop a marketing plan. Um, we are now agreeing to support content creators with that, and then we're also agreeing to support businesses if they're like, "Hey, I really want to start a podcast."
Yeah.
We don't have prices 100% finalized or anything yet. I think there's still a little bit of flexibility and adjustment that's happening in there,
Mhm.
and discussion on how we actually want to bill and everything. But that is a division of the business. We've got our base case study that we've been very excited to work on before. And the really cool thing is if you decide to go down that road, you get access to my marketing skills, James's amazing business skills. We get to leverage those to help grow your business, and then everything that you do put into supporting us there ends up going into supporting the cool shows that we make, and it's how we are able to do a lot of the really cool stuff that we're now kind of working on. And I think it's really exciting as a D&D person to like be able to say like, hey, one of the ways in which I'm able to grow this community and better develop this community and expand upon it is the work I've done in playing Dungeons and Dragons has led to business opportunities that let me keep playing Dungeons and Dragons. I actually did a LinkedIn post about 6 months, 7 months back now about how Dungeons and Dragons made me a better marketer. My uncle has me on LinkedIn, and he is an element that plays into that story because he's the one who taught me to play D&D. And he's like, if I had known the trouble I'd unleashed by teaching you to play Dungeons and Dragons, I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah.
But I'm happy he did. And it's we've talked a lot about kind of the good that we do out in the world, the charities we work with, the places we got to go, and genuinely none of that would have been possible without kind of those initial steps that James and Melissa took, and that now we're expanding upon, to better grow and support kind of the community as we go. And it also means that when it comes to things like setting up donations and stuff like that, we get to donate to our own causes. We are in a spot where we get to be like, hey, as a company, we're trying to raise $2,500 for Roll for Wishes, or $1,200 for the 1,500 trans empowerment project.
So our current goal that I have set on that one is 1,000 for our team,
Okay.
across the stuff that we're hosting.
Yeah.
But it all goes into a giant pot.
Yeah, so
Um,
but for us, for like 1,000 to be able to then turn around and be like, "And we're also putting our own money into it
yeah,
as well to help support and raise." None of that would have been possible without kind of the foresight, and I think you and I have had very late night conversations talking about, growth and opportunity and stuff like
yep,
that, and the unique spot we're in is we have learned so much from this adventure we've been on together. I would say, in our 4 years of doing this, when April said that, I've slipped up and let know who our client is. If she catches it.
yeah,
It's we've been doing this for 4 years now, and being able to leverage those experience and help other content creators, as a skill set, and to be able to reach out and offer those services to support people, I think is a really cool opportunity that we have.
hmm
um, and Brian said it best on one of the shows: by supporting us, you're realistically supporting the community around us,
hmm
by buying our products, whether it's a physical service or some of the stuff on our merch store. um, we are in such a unique and interesting position to actually have those conversations and support and develop and grow and continue to expand our community overall. Um, and I think that's a really cool um, thing that we really haven't had a chance to talk about and brag about, and we don't really talk about it. Like,
hmm
I think Logomancy as a company is very quiet about a lot of the back end business decisions, and I think
yeah,
both you and I are really bad for being like, "Hey, please buy stuff from us," because that's how it feels. And in reality, again, Brian put it best: by buying our products and services, you help encourage us to grow, you help develop, you put us in a position where, we can do things like lending out equipment
yep,
to members of the team that are local, to be able to say like, hey, if you don't have the equipment but you're a great person, you want to create content with us, well, we can support you until you get to a position where you're able to do that yourself.
yeah.
um, it's yeah, we don't brag enough about the cool things we do, and I think this is one of those rare opportunities we can brag about it a little.
It's one of those things that like, um, I've a marketing background as well, education wise, and selling yourself is the hardest thing that you'll ever have to do, right? Without coming off as a weird shill. Um, like there are times when you just got to put the blinders on and say, fuck it. Like, no shame. Here you go. This is a thing I care about. Do it. But yeah, like being like th- the hardest steps as a content creator are one, hitting record,
Yeah.
and two, being like, I made this thing. Please, please watch it. Because the first 10 things that you make are going to suck. These are conversations that we've been having on a regular, because we, as a company, I'm very conscious about um, making sure that all of the people that we work with um, are treated equitably,
Hmm.
and that's to the point of like its own entity, and anything that folks on our channel make really benefits the channel. It helps it grow, and when that happens, then we can do more stuff and help out more people and like grow our community and all of the things that I've been planning for the channel to be able to do. But at the same time, I'm hyper conscious about the idea of um, using somebody to grow our channel.
Hmm.
Like the last thing that I ever want to have is somebody on our crew feel like uh, the growth is because I've made this thing. Um, and it's a fine line for stuff, right? So like if you want to see how the sausage is made a little bit, part of what we do is everybody's talent is worth something, monetarily or like investment wise. Um, we run a bunch of different education opportunities through the channel. Things like Skillshare. There's some stuff for Nebula. Um, Nebula hasn't really come up much yet, but for Skillshare accounts. So if one of the folks that's working with us is like, hey, I really want to learn how to do editing, but I don't have a background in doing that, but I want to edit some shorts. It's like, here's our our company account to Skillshare. Take the time, go learn. I can only give that to so many people at one time, but you know, when you build up your community around you, everybody benefits.
Yeah.
And if those creators are able to take those skills and turn around and make their own amazing content out of it as well, great. That's awesome. You know, it's it's not a it's not a competition.
Yeah, I think any us being able to take, because that's the other thing too. We have a lot of content creators that have joined us that
Mhm.
are first time content creators.
Yes,
They might have skills, they might have been drama people, or they might have, an artistic background, but they've never been content creators before.
they might be a
And
baker.
they might be a baker. And we have these really cool people that we have an opportunity to engage and talk with and share these really cool stories. But the best part of being able to do that is when they then turn around and are out there in the world and making their own content.
Mhm.
It's the best form of free growth we can offer people, and
Yep.
and if anything, it's paid growth at some point, we're hoping, to help people grow and expand and develop their skill set. And I think that's a really cool thing that we offer. When I describe us to potential business contacts, I don't, I say like we Logomancy Inc. is a media company, media and marketing company, effectively is how we
Yep.
operate. But Legends of Logomancy is a content collective.
Yes.
We are our goal is to raise all ships, not just our own.
Mhm. Coming for you, elephant. No.
That is a ballpark we can't afford to play in yet.
Yeah, I understand. But no, we uh, at the end of the day, I'm happy with the stuff that we're making,
Mhm.
and it it shows because the people that are participating are enjoying it and keep signing up for stuff. I mean, my heart always like sits in my chest a little bit every time we put a new like game pitch into our green room,
Yeah.
because Discord is a weird place for people to like. I have 40 or 50 different Discords at any given time, and trying to catch people's attention with snippets is always a hard sell. Um, but I'm really liking the whole TTRPG showcase concept, because the hardest thing with streaming games and getting your players into it is to say, "Hey, I want to play Call of Cthulhu. Can I have the next 3 years of every Monday night of your life?"
Mhm.
That's a hard sell,
Uh-huh.
especially if you're just jumping into something. One, a system you're not used to. Two, with a group that you're just kind of feeling out. Those long term commitments can be really, really daunting. So having that Monday format of like between 2 and 4 games, I feel is a really good sweet spot for stuff.
Yeah.
And it's also a whole lot easier for scheduling, because if somebody's like, "Hey, the whole family has, pink eye. We're not doing this." It's reasonably easy to schedule just those 4 people for a week out
Yeah.
and like kind of bounce around. I'm in the thick of it right now, and that's thick with no K's. Um, for trying to balance a couple of different games that I need to get like the last episode out on.
Yeah.
But it's fine because later on it all shows up in the same playlist, and you can't tell that there was a month and a half between them.
I think it's a really unique offering that we have that a lot of people don't get the opportunity
Mhm.
to explore and talk about, right? The fact that we can show off effectively a game system a month, let's call it, right? On top of the fact, um, that we're able to then turn around and have our long running game, because that's like Frontier Adventures was kind of our first touch to explore having a long running game post the original episodes, right? If
Yeah.
we go all the way back to our Twitch banner where we've got Dern and Hoots and Quill and Agnes, um, and that's a very different, cast of characters. We ran that for what, 24 episodes, I think, across three.
30.
Yeah.
I actually have the playlist up
Okay.
because I was grabbing a different thing.
Yeah.
That one ran for 37 games so
So
far.
37 episodes set with in that original kind of setting and space, with mostly the same cast, with some changing out
Mostly.
people and stuff to go with that. Um, that put us into a really exciting spot
Mhm.
for as content creators and the ability to grow and change and everything. But then we wanted to play more game systems, and we kind of moved Monday to that what we'd always planned it to be, where it was
Yeah.
just kind of shorter stuff and being able to bring back a longer format game. I think it's been well received. Yeah, I know Geek's been having a lot of fun playing in it, and um, I,
One
I I would say our whole team's been having a lot of fun playing, and it gets enough of a story that people can get invested in those characters, but it has an end date too.
yeah. Like seasons change
Mhm.
and will like yeah, as time goes on, everything's gonna change up for content, right?
Yeah,
Like for the most part, I plan to keep our like max 4 episode Mondays rolling the way they are. Um, but I do like long form storytelling,
mhm.
and like the Naylor campaign is essentially just the backdrop for any time that we want to sit down and play some 5e,
Yeah,
right? If I want some sword and sorcery shenanigans where we've set it up where 4 random adventurers have been brought in to do a thing and they're going to go and uh, go on uh, a big old shenanigans adventure, they're able to do that. And we can use that as a platform for it. There's just, I've got an ever increasing library of games that I want to uh, play into and not a whole lot of time to do it. So I'm utilizing my Mondays and hoping that all of the folks in our crew and that are tangentially related to the Discord also have an interest in trying different things and trying different concepts of like not necessarily shoehorning stuff in, but you know, uh, D&D is not a great system for a couple of different kinds of games,
yeah,
but it doesn't mean it can't be done, especially if that's all the folks that wanted to play in that game kind of know. So, there different games for different players, right?
exactly.
Thank you for banning that individual. I appreciate that immensely.
I don't like that's one of those things I don't tolerate. Spam go in the trash where they belong.
Indeed. It's a good time. But no, it's it's been a long it's been a long year so far and it's only May.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the rest. We've got all right, so I'm gonna rapid fire this and then wrap it up, I think. So we've got our Pride 2024 fundraiser running through till the end of May and all through June.
Mhm.
Those games are predominantly running on Mondays and Tuesdays. I don't know if Neon has talked to you about running any of them on Wednesdays in that time slot or not. Remains to be seen. We'll figure it out. We are uh, going to be at Gamescom Canada likely. All signs point to yes.
Yeah.
At this point, if something changes, I'll share it in the Discord as we go. Um, we're going to be promoting our very favorite founding event of Roll for Wishes there.
Yeah.
We're going to be running a handful of one shots. And again, this is all what's planned. If anything changes, I'll let you know. We're going to be at Gen Con. I'm going to be rocking some Make a Wish apparel for some behind the scenes shenanigans. It'll be a good time. You can come and play some Lasers and Feelings or some D&D with me, and or just anything else that we mutually sign up for. If you're going to be there and want to hang out, send me a message on Discord or on socials, and I'll find you. I'm beholden to no one but myself this year, so I have all the time in the world. We're going to be at FallCon 30, 38, 38, I think it is. Um, Later on into the year, I believe that's late August. Going to be rocking that.
Yes.
So that'll be a weekend of board games and TTRPGs and mini painting and having a good time. That's in Calgary, Alberta. Um, what else do we have on the go? Oh, going to be running a handful of different workshops and events through both the Calgary Public Library and the Airdrie Public Library
Hmm.
as time goes on. Some of those are going to be TTRPG events. Some of those are going to be streamer events and like learning how to stream, what goes into it, the equipment, lighting, uh, how much or how little it actually costs. As well, we just finished off our last podcast workshop here with APL a little bit ago. Likely running a series of those based on user feedback and the folks that had attended, trying to get more into it and seeing what they can do technology wise. So pay attention on the Discord and on socials, and I'll share everything as they come. So um, yeah, and some well deserved rest because we all need to remember to take a step back and look after one another and sleep. Sleep is a thing. It's one of those things we don't do enough of.
Well, we both got babies, so
Yeah.
and
You
I
know,
was done and got a puppy.
look, you made choices, man. You that was a choice that you made.
It
You're like,
was. It was.
my dog won't be enough to keep my baby entertained. We need to get another dog to keep the dog and the baby entertained.
And now I just have a baby that harasses two dogs and a
Yeah,
puppy that harasses the baby and the other dog,
it'll
and
be a
me
good time.
who's up at 5 in the morning.
Um, you know what? We're live. Let me look at the schedule for uh Pride. Uh and see if there's anybody streaming tonight that I can raid out to. Let's double check. It looks like I don't see anybody with a scheduled game right now. So why don't we jump over to um Indestructiboy?
Okay.
Taryn's doing some game building right now. Let's go say hello. Thank you everybody for stopping by and hanging out for a little bit.
Yeah, it was great to chat.
Yeah. And thank you, Halfling Wizard, for the sub. I appreciate that immensely. Or for the follow, sorry. I gotta make sure that I actually spell this right. Indestructiboy. Uh I think I did it. We'll see. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, I hit it. Thank you, everybody. Rating out in 5, 4, a 3, a 2, a 1. Good night, everybody.